Hi, it's Brandon from thirstgym.com. Today we're talking about exercise called the hinge technique with rod. This is a great introductory way to teach your clients and your athletes how to hinge. I'll say it's not the only way to do it. This is just one that we find ourselves falling back to rather consistently with the sheer number of youth athletes that we work with that just in general have no idea how to hinge at the hips. So if you happen to be struggling, you can look to this exercise to potentially help you out. You will need a PVC pipe or some kind of lightweight rod. Broomstick works great. And ideally it's going to be anywhere from about 3 to 4 feet long, just so that we can make sure that we're catching the butt, the head, and the middle of the back. So what we're going to take the rod here, we're going to put it behind our back, and we're going to start, doesn't really matter which hand, we're going to take one hand on the low back area. So you've got that little bit of arch in your low back. Our hand's going to fit there, palm away. And then what we're going to do is we're going to have the athlete have their feet shoulder width, and then while they hold the rod here, we want to instruct them to keep the rod basically in between their butt crack. That's one way to teach it, or on their tailbone. We also want to make sure the middle of the rod is staying in contact with the middle of our back, and then we want to make sure that our head stays back so that we can touch it with our head. Okay? So now some athletes will try to do this, but as you notice, we lose middle back contact. So what we need to do is tell them to tuck their chin, and that will allow the rod to stay in touch with the middle of their back. Take the far away hand, and they can put it up by their head. Now, I don't have the greatest shoulder mobility, so this just in general doesn't feel great on my shoulders. But most athletes and clients aren't going to have this this issue probably. So once we're here, and they've got that 3-point contact, which is what we want to make sure we're not overextended. We're trying to push that back. Okay? Then we're going to tell them to feel their whole feet on the ground. We're going to unlock the knees just slightly, just enough to unlock. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take our butt, push our butt back into the rod to move it. And as we move that, we want to kind of keep our head tucked a little bit and shift our back in with the rod. So as I push away, I just want to make sure that my whole upper body continues to go down, and I don't lose any position of any of the rod here. So now it's still on my back, my head, and my butt, okay? Or my lumbar spine right down here, okay? What we don't want to have happen is you'll usually see this, okay? They'll lose the head and the butt, and then they'll just keep rounding. So best way to teach it, unlock knees, find those 3 points of contact, take the butt and just keep slowly pushing it back. I usually have to take my hand, put it here on their hip to understand that their hip needs to go back. And many times you have to take a hand up here on their chest to make sure that their shoulders are falling in line with it. That way they don't start doing this. This is kind of common, but this is a pretty easy fix. Just bring the head back to neutral. But the big problem is when they start rounding and they get here. Okay? So it's not a big range of motion for most people. Usually here is about where they get. And this is a good hinge. If I had a barbell here, dumbbell here, kettlebell here, anything like that, this is a good place to be. And we come back. Should feel all the tension in the hamstrings and the butt. Obviously the back's going to be somewhat tense because we're in somewhat of an extended position, but we also don't want to be like J-Lo, okay? We ain't trying to J-Lo this here to where then I lose my middle back position. We got to keep the middle part of the spine there too to stay in good position. So that's how it's done. You'll have to subtly work with the athlete and the client to keep that in position. And I really think this goes great if we can get an implement in their hands. Sometimes that's a med ball. Sometimes that's a kettlebell behind their back. Sometimes that's 2 5-pound dumbbells for a dumbbell RDL. And then we put this on their back, head, back, low back / butt. And that way when they go down, we can help them keep those 3 points of contact, and then they're going to find, oh, I got it. So this is a great, cheap implement that can help you improve your hinging. It's also a great way for you just to warm up and work on your own hinging as well. But I really have found that this is just what we use, and it's a default with kids that really struggle if we're not really getting everything through, and we need that external feedback cue. This works great, and like I said, you've probably seen it somewhere else, but we're just going to kind of formalize it on our end just so that we make sure that everybody understands how it's done properly and kind of what you're looking for if you're looking to implement something like this in your warm-up or in your structured training plans. If you got any questions, please feel free to leave in the comment section. Thanks. Have a great day.